The Whaley House isn't haunted. At least that's what half the people who visit will tell you. They walk through every room, they sit in the courtroom where apparitions have been photographed. They climb the staircase where dozens have reported feeling someone behind them. They feel nothing. Here's what makes this place truly fascinating. The other half will tell you they saw a full courtroom of people in period clothing that vanished when they blinked, that someone grabbed their hair when no one was there, their knees gave out on the exact same stair on the staircase. Same building, same tour, completely opposite realities. Welcome to Haunted Beyond History. My name is Eric, and let's find out about why the Whaley House in San Diego produces such wildly different experiences. Not whether ghosts are real, not whether you should believe or be skeptical, but why two people can stand in the same room at the same time and have different experiences. I analyzed over 500 visitor accounts from YouTube, Reddit, and tour reviews. I cross-referenced historical records, architectural plans, and documented deaths on the property. And what I found changes everything about how we understand haunted locations. If you're ready to see the Whaley House differently, hit that like button, and let's dive into the history and tales of the Whaley House. It all starts with a man who was never supposed to be there at all. Before the Whaley House existed, there was Yankee Jim. August 1852, a drifter named James Yankee Jim Robinson was caught trying to steal a boat in the San Diego harbor. The punishment? Death by hanging. The gallows were constructed on a plot of land at the corner of San Diego Avenue and Harney Street. 5 years later, Thomas Whaley would build his family home on that exact spot. The hanging took place right where the house's archway now stands. Some accounts say you can still see the beam marks in the ceiling. Thomas Whaley was born in New York City on October 5, 1823, into a Scots-Irish family with Revolutionary War roots. His great-grandfather was a gunsmith who participated in the Boston Tea Party and provided flintlock muskets for the soldiers during the war. But Thomas had bigger ambitions. On January 1, 1849, he left New York for California during the gold rush. He set up a successful hardware store in San Francisco selling supplies from his family's business, Pye and Whaley. Then tragedy struck. In May 1851, an arson fire destroyed his buildings on Montgomery Street. He lost everything. On the advice of a merchant friend, Thomas relocated to San Diego, and it was there, after earning enough money through various business partnerships, that he returned to New York to marry his sweetheart, Anna Eloise Delaunay, on May 14, 1853. They returned to San Diego in 1855, and Thomas purchased the land where Yankee Jim had been executed. On May 6, 1856, construction began. Thomas proclaimed, "My new house, when completed, will be the handsomest, most comfortable, and convenient place in town, or within 150 miles of here." He wasn't exaggerating. The bricks were made from native clay and river sand baked in kilns at Whaley's own brickyard on Conde Street. The woodwork was cedar shipped from the east. The hinges, doorknobs, and locks came from his family's New York establishment. The result? A two-story Greek Revival masterpiece that cost over $10,000, an astronomical sum in 1857. It was the first two-story brick building in all of Southern California, furnished with mahogany and rosewood furniture and Brussels carpets. In 1857, the Whaleys moved in with their children, and Thomas immediately got to work. The house wasn't just a home. Within months, Thomas opened a general store on the first floor, selling everything from hardware to mining equipment. He leased space to San Diego County for $65 a month, making part of the house San Diego's second county courthouse. 3 upstairs bedrooms became courtroom and office space. Legal proceedings, civil cases, criminal trials, all conducted in the Whaley family home. Then, in 1868, Thomas did something unusual. He converted an upstairs bedroom into San Diego's first commercial theater. The Tanner Troupe, a traveling theater group, rented the space. For opening night, the tiny room held 150 guests, mostly standing room only. Ladies were advised not to wear their hoop skirts or petticoats that evening to allow for more room. The theater operator, Thomas Tanner, died just 17 days after opening. The troupe disbanded by the end of 1869, and the deaths had only just begun. In 1858, their 18-month-old son, Thomas Jr., died of scarlet fever in an upstairs bedroom. In 1885, their daughter, Violet, took her own life in the house. She was 22 years old. She had just discovered that her husband, George Bertolacci, was a con artist who married her only for the Whaley family fortune. Her suicide note read, "Mad from life's history, swift to death's mystery, glad to be hurled anywhere, anywhere out of this world." She shot herself in the chest with her father's .32 caliber revolver. Now, most haunted house stories would end there. A woman or a man died violently, now haunts the location. Simple. But that's not what makes the Whaley House unique. Layer upon layer of human experience, joy, grief, mundane daily life, legal drama, all compressed into this one building. The first hotspot location in the house was the stairs. Over and over, the same location. But not everyone. Remember, half the visitors experience nothing. The third stair down, multiple people, the exact same stair. This detail led me down a rabbit hole. I created a database with every reported experience, every location in the house, every type of reported phenomena. And 3 clear patterns emerged. Pattern 1. The staircase, the courtroom, and the theater generated the most reports, but not just any reports. Physical sensations, touching, pressure, temperature changes. These aren't visual sightings. They are felt experiences. Pattern 2. Evening tours generated significantly more reports than daytime tours. But here's the twist. The evening tours are group experiences. You're guided through with several other people. Daytime tours are self-guided. You're often alone or just with your companions. So, which should have more experiences? Logic says being alone in a haunted house at night would be more terrifying. But the data says opposite. Pattern 3. This is crucial. It's the expectation. Before you even walk through the door, you've been primed. The Whaley House markets itself as America's most haunted home. This designation didn't happen recently. The house has been associated with paranormal activity since the 1960s. Decades of investigations, TV shows, thousands of visitors specifically come to experience the paranormal. So by the time you climb those stairs, your brain is already looking for patterns, trying to explain creaks, interpreting shadows. And here's the thing about old houses. They creak, they settle. Temperature fluctuations cause wood to expand and contract, especially on a staircase that's been walked on thousands of times. That third stair, the one where people's knees give out, it's likely worn differently than the others, maybe a little lower, maybe the angle is a little different after 160 plus years of use. Maybe, but if you've been told the house is haunted, your brain doesn't think worn stair, it thinks paranormal experience. Now, does this mean the Whaley House isn't haunted? Not necessarily. Because there's something else happening here, something that the skeptical explanation doesn't fully account for. And it has to do with who experiences what. Let's talk about fourth graders. For decades, San Diego fourth graders have taken field trips to Old Town. The Whaley House is always a highlight. These childhood visits create lasting impressions that shape adult experiences. Children's brains are more susceptible to suggestion, more imaginative, less equipped to rationalize fear. So when these kids grow up and return as adults, they're not experiencing the house with fresh eyes. They're experiencing it through a lens of a childhood memory that has had decades to amplify. Remember the 3 patterns? Location-specific experiences, group dynamics, expectation. The 4th grade field trip hits all 3. 1, the tour guides tell specific stories about specific locations. The clothesline in the back, the baby drowning in the bath, Violet's death. But something I discovered in the historical records. The girl strangled by the clothesline story, it's not connected to the Whaley family. There's no documented death by clothesline on this property. It appears to be either a local legend that got attached to the house, or possibly a story from somewhere else in Old Town that migrated to the Whaley House narrative. Over 60-plus years of school field trips, the stories have been refined, made more dramatic, adapted to capture children's attention. The group dynamic, 34th graders feeding off each other's energy and fear. Some kids are skeptical even then, but they're outnumbered. When your classmates are scared, it's easier to be scared too. Expectation. By the time the bus pulls up, every kid knows this is the haunted house trip. The key insight is that these childhood visitors don't just become adults who return to the house. They become the people writing the comments, creating the YouTube videos, sharing the stories on Reddit. They are reinforcing the narrative, creating this expectation for the next generation of visitors. It's a self-reinforcing cycle that has been building for over half a century. Here's what makes this truly fascinating. This explains why some people have experiences. It doesn't explain why some people have the same experiences in the same locations without knowing each other's stories. Remember that third stair? I mentioned it might be worn differently. That's part of it. But there's something else. The Whaley House staircase is steeper than most modern stairs. The rise and run don't match current building codes. Your body expects one thing, the stairs deliver another. Going down, your weight shifts forward. On that third stair, the angle changes slightly. Your knee joints have to compensate. If you're not paying attention, if you're looking around, distracted by the tour, thinking about ghosts, your prior perception is off. Your knees buckle slightly, just for a second. But if you've been told the house is haunted, your brain categorizes that physical sensation as paranormal, because that's the framework you've been given. Same stimulus, different interpretation. Now apply this principle to the entire house. The courtroom where people report feeling watched, it has windows on 3 sides. Your peripheral vision catches movement from outside. Trees, people walking by, cars. Your brain knows something moved, but it didn't move where you were looking directly. The lighting is period appropriate, dim, creating shadows that shift as you move. Humans are pattern recognition machines. We evolved to spot predators and incomplete visual information. We see faces in clouds, animals in shadows, figures in darkness. The theater room where people report hearing footsteps above them, the second floor has visitors. The wood is old. Every step reverberates through the structure. But in a Victorian house full of hallways and rooms, sounds echo, bounce, come from unexpected directions. Your brain says, footsteps above me, but we're on the top floor. Except there's an attic access, and the roof has maintenance areas. There literally are spaces above you, and sound travels through 160-year-old wood in ways that don't match modern construction. Is the Whaley House haunted? Here's what I could tell you with certainty. The house has documented tragedies, real deaths, real grief. It's an old structure with quirks that can create unexplained sensory experiences. It's been marketed as haunted for 60-plus years, creating powerful expectation effects. And it has self-reinforcing narrative loops from childhood field trips to adult visits to social media sharing. All of these factors together create the perfect environment for paranormal experiences, whether or not anything supernatural is actually happening. Those experiences are real to the people having them. These aren't lies. These aren't hoaxes. These are genuine, perceptual experiences shaped by architecture, history, psychology, and expectation. The brain is filling in gaps, making sense of incomplete information, creating coherent narratives from ambiguous stimuli. That's not weakness. That's not gullibility. That's human perception working exactly as designed. So why do half the visitors see ghosts while the other half sees nothing? Because they're asking different questions. Believers enter looking for evidence of the paranormal. Their attention is tuned to anomalies, unexplained sensations, patterns that suggest presence. And the house gives them plenty to work with. Skeptics enter looking for rational explanations. Their attention is tuned to normal causes, structural quirks, psychological effects. And the house gives them plenty to work with too. Same house, different filters. The truth is probably somewhere in between. The Whaley House is a genuinely historic building where real tragedies occurred. It's architecturally unusual in ways that create real sensory experiences. Whether those experiences are paranormal or not, that depends on what you're willing to believe. And maybe that's the real haunting, not spirits trapped between worlds, but stories that refuse to die. If you want to see more Haunted Beyond History locations, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Drop a comment and let me know, have you been to the Whaley House? What did you experience? And if you think there's a location I should investigate next, let me know below. Thanks for watching. And remember, whether you see ghosts or not, the stories are always real.